to Community Conversations. I'm your host, KK Kaneshiro. Hundreds of Fremont Unified students representing 4 high schools are preparing to become the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs through their respective California DECA clubs. These Distributive Education Clubs of America provide tools and resources for students to develop skills in marketing, finance, hospitality, and management. One of FUSD's school is particular in making quite a splash, yay, quite a splash in regional competitions, and here to talk about their accomplishments are our fabulous students and of course our favorite co-host, Dr. Jim Morris. But could you introduce yourselves and tell me what grade you're in? We'll start with you.
So I'm Vishang Guy and I'm a senior.
Okay.
I'm Sam Maturi, I'm also a senior.
Okay.
I'm Kevin Mao, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Jasmine Tongsila, I'm also a sophomore.
Wow, this is great. So first of all, for anyone out there who's watching who doesn't understand what DECA is, could you explain what that is?
DECA originally stood for Distributive Education Clubs of America. It was first founded in the 1940s, but it really began taking up speed in California in the 2000s. So
wow.
DECA has both a competitive as well as a leadership development aspect. So the competitive aspect covers topics such as business administration, finance, hospitality and tourism, marketing, as well as entrepreneurship. And Fremont DECA students, as well as DECA members all around the world, have the opportunity to access a network of alumni members, as well as career and college opportunities.
Nice. So this is just not nationwide, it's worldwide.
Yes.
Okay, so these competitions could be anywhere in the world, right?
All of them happen in the United States. This year, all our conferences are in California. Our international conferences also in California, in Anaheim.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during your typical school day, DECA is after school, before school, during school? Is it a class? Help me out here.
So it's usually after school that we
Okay.
officers are holding training sessions, competition sessions. But this year with the CT implementation, we have a class that's taught, that's
Okay.
teaching marketing to our students that the class helps towards DECA.
Okay.
But this Irvington group, and I really want to give them credit, are the powerhouse. I mean, they are pretty amazing. And this year, really it was students from Irvington who really advocated. We had some technical requirements that students have to be taking this marketing class in order to participate in the club and participate in the competition. The students from Irvington have always been an awesome group, but these students really stepped up as advocates for other students, trying to teach others the value of DECA. I'm curious, what got you involved, and how did you hear about DECA as really a great way to learn skills that'll help you in the future?
Actually, it's interesting because my first exposure to DECA was when I was a 7th grader at Horner, and it was in my math class. It was our algebra class, and we had high schoolers from Irvington come in and give a presentation about DECA to the 8th graders in our class. And I remember, fast forward 2 years, I'm a freshman at Irvington, and I see information about an informational meeting for DECA. And so I attended the meeting, and I remembered everything that I had heard back 2 years before when I was a 7th grader. And the distinct moment where I decided to join the club was when they showed this video that California DECA had made recapping the 2015 State Career Development Conference. And you just see this mesh of professionalism with personal development, where you have students having fun while dressed professionally within a professional setting, and it's just exciting. It makes you want to be a part of that, and so that was the moment when I decided I want to be a part of this.
Nice. So same with you guys? You saw the presentation at your school?
Yeah.
For me, it was a little different. In middle school, I was involved with debate heavily, and entering high school, there was a rivalry between debate and DECA. But interestingly enough, people either do one or the other, but interestingly enough, I chose both. And I could tell that DECA was a lot more career focused, and that was when I started getting really involved, and I really fell in love with the entire entrepreneurship track and how it's very specialized to what someone could possibly be doing in their actual career, and that was when I realized that DECA was where I could find one.
That's great.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
So I was, since middle school, I've been involved in computer science. So when I, learned about entrepreneurship and now DECA, people started their own startups and businesses, and that really drove me into it, and I think that's still something that continues within myself. Yeah.
Nice. And you?
So first I found DECA through social media actually, and when I first went to the first introductory meeting, same as Jasmine, the video really drew me in, and also my interest in business. I really wanted to learn more about business, but when I initially joined, I learned that it was so much more than business. You get to build so many more connections. You get to learn so many leadership and career skills, and it's really helpful for the future.
Now, out of curiosity, do you have to dress this sharp at school? Or just for or just for DECA?
Usually just for DECA, not on the daily.
Okay.
We range between semi-formal,
Okay.
business professional, and then this is like business formal.
Got it, got it. So what was so surprising when you, well, first of all, let me back up. If any student is interested in participating in DECA, what are the requirements IKK have as a student need to have to join your group? What do I need to do?
Got it. So starting last year, there was a new rule implemented. Not only do you have to be part of the membership requirements before, like being part of a California DECA member as well as a DECA Inc. member, you also needed to have a CTE class, which is a business curriculum class that is taught by a CTE credential teacher.
Okay.
So it could be ranging from marketing to finance, basically something that is co-curricular with DECA.
Great, great. And then I just fill out an application, and I'm in.
Basically.
Okay. Do you guys meet every day after school, or is it only a couple times a week, or how does this work?
So this year, so this year we implemented something called a mentorship program, and what we do is, we used to have meetings Tuesdays and Thursdays after school, where students will come in, and we have competitions team, which they'll help students with their written report or their events. But this time we've also started this thing called mentorship program, which is not, you don't have to physically be there, but you can also do everything remotely, and every officer is connected with 8 students.
Nice.
Who and the officer is an expertise in a certain field. So like I'm in hospitality tourism, he's in entrepreneurship. So we have students that want to do the same kind of a thing, and so we're connected with them. We drive them throughout the entire year, and that is something that really helped us this year.
That's great. And then you also have, through the alumni, have mentors, right?
Yeah.
This is great. So just perpetuates. This is great. So does every school have a DECA Club, or is it just Irvington?
Yes, we actually have at American, Washington, Mission, and Irvington.
Okay.
Now, because they're here today, I'll tell you they're the best and my favorites. If it were from another school, I'd probably say they were the best and my favorites. But this Irvington team really is pretty amazing in what they've accomplished, how they do in the local, the regional, the state competitions. They really make us proud. But I think you heard from the students. It's students mentoring and helping other students.
Yes.
That's incredibly powerful,
Yes.
what they do and the network they've built among themselves.
Now, let's talk about the competitions. What was that like? I mean, this is bigger than a final, right? So how does this work out?
So students participate in 2 different types of competitions. The first one is a prepared business report, where it could range from creating your own product, creating your own company, or taking an existing company and solving some sort of internal operational issue.
Okay.
And then you oftentimes go into a judge setting where you are one-on-one or with your judge, and your judge is portraying an investor. So you present your idea, and
You have to sell it.
basically, you sell your idea.
That's
Yeah.
intimidating.
And then the other event is an impromptu event. So depending on your event, they give you either 10 minutes or 30 minutes, and they give you a business problem, and you have
To solve it.
Yeah, you have to solve it and then present it.
And the business problem coincides with whatever you're focusing on.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Wow, so you don't even know what that problem could be. You
Yeah.
have to prepare for everything.
Right.
Wow, okay, so that's at the local region. Once you pass the local, then you went on to the state level? Okay, and then how many schools are involved with the state? Is it statewide? Is it?
It is statewide. I think with the CTE rule, the numbers dropped incredibly, I think, to around the number of chapters dropped a little bit, but the amount of membership per chapter actually dropped a lot because of the CTE rule. Not everyone could attain those classes, and Irvington DECA had to jump through a lot of hurdles to get to all the CTE classes that we have right now. Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys are state champions?
We could say so.
Yeah, you can say so.
We've all been to the international
Nice.
conference, so yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, has that happened already, or the international one, or?
So it happens every year. So like this DECA year is known as the 2016-2017 year. So we just had our regional conference, which was in San Ramon.
Okay.
Now we're gonna have our state conference, which this year is also held in Santa Clara.
Okay.
And once we qualify, whoever the top 4 in each event from there go to international, which happens in April this year.
This year.
And that's in Anaheim.
Wow.
So we
Now-
all went to the last year's
Did
one
you
in
really?
2016, yeah.
Wow.
In Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Nashville, Tennessee. Do their teachers get to go with them, or how does this work?
Yes, yes, they do. Yeah.
Teacher loves coming with us, so.
Yeah, you gotta have a
Yeah.
cheering section.
Yeah.
So what's it like when you're doing the international habit? I mean, it's gotta be intense.
We actually had one freshman last year who got second place internationally, and he's sitting
Wow.
right here. So if you want,
Congratulations. What was your focus?
I did the franchise business plan, so I was in entrepreneurship.
So the franchise business plan. And what is your focus? Is it-
I focus in the business administration and management
Okay.
cluster.
Okay,
Mhm.
cluster. I got the lingo and everything. Well, but I think this is a great club, but not only for what you're learning, but how you're holding yourselves. You're very professional. I can approach you in a business type setting and not be intimidated. You guys are well spoken. This is great.
Well, and I think that is one of the things. Not only do they learn, and I think we heard it, not only do they learn the specific technical skills, right? But it's really that
The soft skills.
that the soft skills that when we look at employers,
Yes.
and all those surveys done of employers, what are they looking for?
Yes.
They're looking for young people who really know how to function, get along with other people, work together as part of a team, and really
Right.
work in a business environment.
So when you're learning about your focuses, you also learn about the soft skills, as Dr. Morris was saying. How is that taught? Do you guys interact with each other? Do you do a role-playing type situation? I mean, how does that happen?
So I think Kevin and I currently on our officer team, we serve as competition directors, so we do a lot of the teaching for our members, and I think with those soft skills that you mentioned, a lot of it comes from experiential learning.
Okay.
So that comes from working with officers, and we'll work with our members and we run through role plays, we'll ask them to do practice presentations for us, and a lot of it just comes from interacting with fellow members and officers, and that's how we build those interpersonal communication skills.
So I like that. They're engaging and learning on site. Get it. That's great. Now, for you seniors, can you continue with DECA after you graduate and go into college, or is it once you're a senior and you're graduating, you're done?
So there is collegiate DECA, which some colleges do have their own DECA chapters. There's
Okay.
DECA at high school level and then there's DECA at collegiate level.
Okay.
So based on where we go, there are some schools that do offer DECA
Right.
as well. But if not, we can always start our own chapter there and start to build up DECA at that school as well. But I definitely want to continue DECA. Yeah.
This is great. This is great. So, as you were saying, this was started in the 40s, and California just got onto it in the 2000s?
California has been involved, for a much longer
Okay.
time. I think what the students were talking about is the real culture that's been built up at
Okay.
Irvington and Mission, American, Washington has really been probably over the last maybe about 20 years
Okay.
in Fremont in particular. But we're really just proud because it really is something that's student driven. And the reason those CTE classes are in place and the reason that Superintendent Hansen at Mission Valley ROP said, we're going to find a way to fund it, because the students were very, very clear about how it directly benefited them
Nice.
in preparing for the future.
So I gotta ask, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I have a passion for computer science, and I think DECA with connecting people has really allowed me to expand into the business world as well. So I think going forward, I'll probably become an entrepreneur, have a startup.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you?
DECA has opened me up to the world of finance. I want to pursue a career somewhere in investment banking or some other career in finance.
Nice. And you?
While I'm still undecided, DECA's really opened me up to the business world, as these two have mentioned. I definitely want to start my own company or have a startup and maybe implement some science in that, because I'm also deeply invested in science as well.
Nice. Jasmine?
Oh, I think it's a bit daunting. I still feel surprised that I'm not at Horner still as an 8th grader, and I'm now in high school, and people are asking, what do you want to do when you grow up? So I think after joining DECA, I realized that I definitely have a passion for business management and analytical, like operations research sort of things that I've gotten to do through DECA. So something having to do with business and operations analysis, definitely.
You know, you could be the market analyst for these two entrepreneurs, and you're the, what is that, angel investing.
These
There you
guys are
go.
going to take over the world.
This is
They have a
great.
plan.
What was surprising for you when you first joined the club that you didn't expect to learn?
For me, at least, when I first joined, I thought it would just be a review of business concepts. They would
Yeah.
teach you business concepts. And at these competitions, it would be tests of how well you knew those business concepts. But once I joined, I knew it was so much more than that. You get to build so many connections, so many deep bonds, and you get to learn so many leadership skills, and these are really applicable to future career paths as well as college paths.
Okay, Jasmine, was that the same for you, or?
For me, something that surprised me, so I remember one of my friends, she had an older brother who's 3 years older than her, I think, and he told her, oh, DECA, you just write long 30-page reports, it's really tedious. And so that was one of the few things I heard about DECA once coming into high school. But I joined and I did write 30-page reports, which ended up turning into some long nights, but I didn't expect it to change my life so much. And it sounds like kind of cheesy when you say, oh, this is life-changing, but it really does. I've made some of my deepest connections with some of my closest friends now through this organization, and having the opportunity to compete and like connect with other people across the state, across the country even, while also just developing personal development, professional development. It took me by surprise, just the whole
She's
experience.
just beaming over there. How about you?
Yeah, no, for one side is, just personal development, but there's also, understanding the business world. I remember the freshman year, I chose the hardest event to do, and it was 30
course you did.
pages. And then I regretted it because I couldn't write 30 pages. Now I do the same event today, and it's like 30 pages is too less to write. I'm having trouble just shrinking it down to 30 pages. So it's like, you learn so much about the industry, and you meet so many people. We went to a leadership conference this summer in San Francisco, and we met people from Chicago. We still talk to them today.
Oh, nice.
It's the connections you never expect you'll build, but people that continue down the right road with you.
Okay, and you?
I think the biggest lesson I've learned from DECA wasn't the first year I joined, but it was actually last year when I was an officer. I realized that DECA, the skills you learn, all the soft skills, it was not just applicable in the role play or the actual event itself, the competition, but also applicable outside of DECA itself. And that rule is really put to the test when all of us were basically advocating for CTE last year, and we had to go out and reach out to community leaders. And if it was a different club, I don't think we would have all had the soft skills to basically argue on or advocate for CTE classes to be instated at all our schools, as well as develop those connections with local leaders as well. So that was something that I learned from DECA, all those networking skills as well as those public speaking skills, and that's something that it's applicable throughout life. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you really think about it. I think the most impressive part was the tenacity. Kept at it, kept at it, kept at it. We're going to get the answer we want.
This is great. I am so proud of you guys, and I wish you the best of luck, even though you won't need it. But thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you, Dr. Morris. From everyone here at Community Conversations, we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.